Over the last couple of weeks, I've been reaching out to lawyers and law firms, trying to understand the struggles in the industry when it comes to revenue generation. And here are 3 potential struggles that lawyers and law firms face when growing their firms and potential solutions that you can take away. The first potential struggle that keeps coming up is that the legal industry, especially for smaller to medium law firms, is that it's pretty much referral based. Founding lawyers and partners probably start out by having their own clientele base through word of mouth, through referrals, and perhaps they come together and they contribute revenue towards a singular law firm. However, one of my proposed solutions was that scale can only be achieved through systems and somewhat of a push marketing. Only when you track revenue from a systemic standpoint, for example, a client that signed up from your website on a landing page from an ad, they become a lead. From a lead, go from consultation to a signed case with a revenue number, and you're tracking your advertising spend as well. That is where you can achieve scale through systems, trackable systems, advertising input and revenue output. A system like this can really bring a lawyer practice or your law firm to the next level. Well, I'd like to share with you a story when I was working in an insurance industry for one of the biggest banking groups in the region. I took a product from $200K to $1 million a month within 5 months. And it was done in a very systematic and trackable manner. It was done based on numerical and data analysis and decision making. It is very, very possible when it comes to using online marketing, digital marketing as an input. Perhaps from getting 0 to 1, a referral-based system may work for you. But if you want to take your business from 1 to maybe 5 to 10, then you should consider building a client acquisition system to bring your leads to sign cases in a trackable, systematic manner. So the second potential struggle that I've listened to is that smaller law firms are concerned about reputation when competing in the legal industry as compared to the big 4 firms. We do know that the big 4 firms, they lead by reputation, right? They do not do any push marketing. They do not do any extensive, aggressive marketing out there to get clients. Clients just go to them because of their reputation. Smaller to medium law firms can compete indirectly through customer-centric marketing. There are already examples out there such as SingaporeLegalAdvice.com. They make their content in a way that is understandable, where, for example, a user like me goes on their website. The content is easily understood by someone who's not legally trained, and that's how trust is built, instead of relying on reputation alone. Number 2, advertising channels on Google and Meta, Facebook do give you direct access to consumers, legal consumers, if you will. There are already lawyers out there that I've spoken to that are using Google Ads as a platform to get clients signed, and they do not represent big reputable law firms. So one of the concerns that came up was that the Legal Profession Act and the legal industry is concerned about the overt form of publication, and that includes advertising. So I've actually did my due diligence, went to read the Legal Profession Act. I am not legally trained, but my layman interpretation of this is that there are certain restrictions when it comes to advertising in the legal industry. One of it being a law firm can't breach confidentiality between a former client or existing client. So I've seen other law firms in Singapore publicize past cases. So I'm pretty sure that they had an agreement with the existing or former client that we are allowed to publish this. So there's actually already practice in the legal industry in Singapore itself. They are driving traffic towards it. Hence, as a professional, I think there is no reason not to advertise on these platforms. And in my experience, Google Ads is already extensively used amongst the legal industry to acquire clients. TADM, which is the Tripartite Alliance for Dispute Management, which is set up by Ministry of Manpower in Singapore, National Trades Union Congress, NTUC, and Singapore National Employers Federation. They have used Facebook advertising. I've seen their ads on Facebook to build awareness, to reach out to individuals that may require their help. From a strategic standpoint, I'll go wherever the channels that are not used or overused, right? So in my experience helping a business grants consultant get B2B leads on Facebook, I've actually gained his testimonial and actually performed pretty well on that campaign, just because at one point of time, there was no one from the business grants consultant industry running ads on Meta and Facebook, right? So I was the only one, so I took up all the leverage and attention space there and performed pretty well. So I would actually advise legal firms to take a look at meta advertising. It's a blue ocean channel, and actually formulate a client acquisition plan through that channel. Third pain point that I've come across, I think in most small to medium law firms, they take up whatever client cases that come across their way. I think that they do that because they require the revenue, so they just take in anyone that comes along their way. I've seen the better small to medium firms specialize. They have a unique brand, they have an ideal customer profile, they know the sort of legal cases that they are strong at. Perhaps they have past case studies, they have past capabilities or existing capabilities that specialize in a singular specialization in the legal industry. So by having a client acquisition system built up for a specialized area of the legal industry, that can actually help you bring your practice from a generic one to a specialized one. And I find this true for firms. They usually lean into one sort of specialization: shipping law, employment law, civil litigation in commercial cases. And I'll argue that only through specialization you can achieve economies of scale. Just by staying in a generic position, yes, you can generate revenue, you can make a living through your legal practice, but we're talking about economies of scale here. And if you do really want to bring your firm to the next level, then I'll argue that you have to specialize. The beautiful part is that through the Google Ads platform, through the meta advertising platform, you can control who you advertise to, right? You can build up an ideal client profile and you can target these clients. For example, in Google Ads, you can target the keywords specific to the specialization that you would like to enter. In meta advertising, you can control the creative, you can control the target audience, you can control the age, and hence you can paint an ideal client profile and you can reach out to these targeted individuals. So lastly, I'd like to conclude by saying that I remember a lawyer telling me that there are many ways to make a living. There are many ways to make money. And I think he said that because I think most lawyers practice because they enjoy practicing. They find meaning and purpose in the sense of justice, and they would like to enable individuals access to justice. I would further argue that it is meaningful to iron out the client acquisition process for your law firm so that you can practice and help people that you truly enjoy serving. Alright, this is Marcus from 3 Topics, and I hope to see you in the next video.